We have got, I think we've got a couple of questions that have been posted, and if you want to put some questions into, if you have questions, if you put them there, then they won't get lost in the chat. Although there's not too many of us, I'm sure we'll be able to get through it all pretty quickly. All right. Okay. So we're live streaming now, which is our super easy way of making the recordings available. So the point is, there's a couple of different ways. So it depends on whether you want people to be able to go to a dashboard first, the Obvio dashboard. So for people that are using sort of ongoing in exactly the way that we're using this event we're doing right now, every week, same link for everyone. We also have the sign up feature available, so people can go to a page that says enter first name, last name, email, and then they see the dashboard. Then they can hit join Zoom, and away they go. Right. So that's a common process. We can also use what's called our direct access links, which is where you have a Zoom meeting that you have started, and then you have a link that you can give people that will go to still a branded, customized page that says first name, last name, email, but then they'll get directed straight into Zoom and they won't go to the dashboard, right? So you can use either one of those processes. Do you have a preference on that, do you think, Jenny? Number one?
First one.
Yep, seeing the dashboard. Okay, great. So let me just show you the event that we're in right now, this Obvio updates and Q&A, and I'll just show you how we've got that set. So if I go to um, what am I looking for? At, I'm looking for. Sorry, my brain just. There we go. In design and sign up. Sorry, I was still waking up. So we use this page where for any event, when you're in the event of your event, you have to go and click enable. And what that enables is, and you can see this little, you can hit copy over here and you'll see what that is. So for us, that was this event is update.obv.io and then slash sign up. And so that takes us to a page that looks like this. And so, as I said, first name, last name, email. Now, this whole page is customizable, right? And you can change that where we were looking just then. So here, changing logos, backgrounds, what the words say here, what it says down the bottom here on that submit button, all of that. What that does is, so that's the link that you would send out, is that sign up link, even for people that are already attendees. And so when they fill this in for someone that's already an attendee, it'll look up and see that they're already attendee and then just sign them in as them. Okay. So, um, yeah, if it's repeat people, then they'll get the same thing. Obviously, once they are signed up, then you can send them their own magic link, which takes them straight to the dashboard as well, right? So you've got that option once they are signed up, so that then it's a little bit easier for them. They just click a link and they get straight to the dashboard. So then on the dashboard, what we're talking about here is the button that you just press to get into here, which is this one, join event Zoom meeting, is what we called it. And if we look at what that is doing, the actual button, sorry, that wasn't it. I'm confusing it. Join, join the Q&A call is the one that everyone pressed. People are like, I didn't press that. What are you talking about? So this is the one that was there. It's enabled, join the Q&A call, and the action that the button does is when we want it to join a Zoom area. And in this case, we've got that as main stage. So really the process is when we come right down the bottom here to Zoom areas, we need to have a Zoom area that we create. So we can create a Zoom area, we call it whatever we want, and generally we just use things like main stage as our name, and that creates a collection of Zoom meetings. And for most of us, all the time, we just have one Zoom meeting in that area. But this is how you are able to scale and have a lot more more than 1,000 people per se. So you can actually have you can scale it up and have lots more. In this instance, we've just got one, and so that's all that you have to do is have this area. Then you can have the button connected to that area. And then when it comes to the event day or each week, you can come in here, make sure that make sure the area is open. That's like closing the front doors. And so you get an offline message if you have that closed. So you make sure that's open. You come down to here, you open the room, which sort of initializes the room from a Zoom point of view, and then you hit start. Because this room is already opened, it says join. But when it's not actually open and started, it'll say start. You click start. That launches Zoom. That you don't have to log into anything. You don't have to log into Zoom or anything. It just comes up as you are now the host, and you're ready to go. Anyone that comes to the dashboard clicks on that link, it'll take them through in exactly the same way that you just did it then. And so that's the process. Now that's using our Zoom meeting, just making that sure it's our Zoom account. You don't need your own Zoom account to be able to do that. So does that make sense, Jenny?
It's perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. And so when you get back to your computer and you're like, I've forgotten everything he just said, you can you can go back to the dashboard again for this event, and click a link, and you will see that we have right here is the video that we've just done right now, right? Like you can actually see that, and you could scrub to the start and you'll find that. And if you need to step through it a bit, then that's where you find it really easily right there. All right.
Thank you.
No problems. Oh, did I stop sharing? I did. I stopped sharing, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Sorry. I was just saying back to the dashboard and then you see the video right there. And that's where that's what's kind of cool about that playlist that we've got, which means that it's showing the exact video right now. So good. All right. So I think we've got a couple of questions that have come in. Yes. Now, have we got Mabel? Not yet. We'll see. We'll see if she comes in a little bit later. Tiffany, hello. Can I change the size of the white block around the resources I added? This is like, it's when you know that Tiffany knows the system very well now. So when you ask a question, the chances are the answer is not really, or no, you would have been able to work it out if you can.
I thought
But
so, yeah.
let's have a look though. On which event is this? Or
This
do you want to
is,
screen share? Do you want to screen
oh
share and
yeah.
show me? Yeah. Okay, great. Let me make sure I've got that on. Yep.
Can you repeat the question? Because I didn't hear it.
It's around it's a white block around the resources. So yeah. Uh what is happening there?
I mean, I went into here, obviously, and
Oh, I see. Yeah, okay. So you're adding a new block, a resource block for each one. Is that what you've done there?
That is what I did because I didn't know that. I mean, can I add multiple to one block?
If you put a
I didn't think I
name,
could
if you put a name in the top,
do.
that's see how that's the space that's there. It kind of it's designed currently um to have a name. Um
And I definitely don't want it to have that because the name is the PDF name.
just the PDF
But
name.
yeah, I mean, if I can have one block that has
Interesting.
all the PDFs in it, but that didn't look like I could do that.
This is very it's quite unique on this theme. Because in lots of the other themes, the resources is just in the sidebar, and it's a little bit different. Um,
Mhm.
I need to check on that. Um,
Okay. I mean, if not, again, not the end of the world. It was just a suggestion, because
oh yeah,
what people were saying when we were doing some testing with some of my team is they want to be able just to click the block to access this, but you can't click on it. You can only click on the name, which is linked
yeah,
to get to the file. And natural human brain is going to
I
go just try to click the block itself. So we were trying to see if we could make the block smaller,
100%.
then it would be easier to. But
Yeah,
our
that
event's
is.
next week. So if it's not possible, this is what we'll do.
Yeah, let me explore that more. Um, I need to double check with Blue about that initial design because that doesn't seem quite right. Um, yeah. Yeah. Let me get back to you. Because I think either way we should be able to tidy that up one way or another. Um, because it doesn't look right.
Okay.
Um, so Carl, can you just make a note of that for me? Which is a yeah, it's about resources. Um, yeah, and the spacing. Yeah, we'll get. I'll look into that. That's something's not quite right there.
Thank you.
Cool. Anything else? Yes, you
Oh
do have
yeah,
something
I
else.
sent you quite a few questions.
Okay. Um, so Zoom. Can I have a viewing room for some of the contractors to watch the event without being in the main room with the attendees? You sure can. Of course, it just means really it's about a production question about getting the audio and video. So there's no fanciness that Obvio can do to connect two Zoom meetings together. By all means, you can have another Zoom area, and we do this often. We'll have like a team viewing area,
Mhm.
and so then we have that link. But depending on what the production setup is, it is just like do you do it in a studio or you have a team that does all the AV? How does that work?
Yeah, we are in a
Yeah, you do.
studio, and what we've done
Okay.
historically, because we've used our own Zoom, is I create a viewing room through Vimeo, and we just live
Okay.
stream it from our Zoom.
Right.
Um, so, but if I mean the production team, if I create a second Zoom room for the main event
Yep.
and will that have its own direct access link so I can share it directly with just
Yep.
the people who need it?
Yep.
Okay,
Exactly.
so
Yep. Um,
okay.
yeah, and you can do cool things like uh um are you?
That'll actually work perfect because I'll just let I'm actually meeting with our production team tomorrow. So I
Okay.
can set that up, let them, and we can test it out and I'll let them know like these people should not be on the gallery view for Allison or put into any breakouts. They are literally just
Right.
watching. So they just need to see the main stage. Cool.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
easy enough.
We often do that. And the nice thing is that it tends to be much lower latency than doing a live stream, right? So they're actually like getting it at exactly the same time. And
Yeah.
then you can
Less work
also,
on my end.
yeah, well, yeah, exactly. And you can see the team, whether they're there as well. It's kind of this, team viewing room. And it's also handy when you do breakout rooms and things like that, that they're not included in them and that sort of stuff. So that'll work fine. Yeah, that's the best way to do it. So
Perfect.
um, yeah,
Also relate, there's two other ones that are both related to the Zoom as well.
yeah, go ahead.
When when I first set it up, I had set up two Zoom rooms for the main event piece. Let me show you. So for this, I had originally the main event right here. I had two Zoom rooms in here. But when we were testing, everyone's name had a number 1 in front of it. So I closed the other Zoom room,
Hmm.
which made that 1 disappear. How do I make sure that when I add this next Zoom room, right, so I'm gonna create the other one. How do I make sure that the
That's going to make
number
three
doesn't
now.
show up? Oh,
That,
oops.
that's going to add. That's right.
How do I make sure that get out of there. That the number 1 isn't in front of their name when they come in, or the number 2 isn't in front of their name? Because I don't want them to, I don't want that because then it pushes their actual name further out and it's going to make it hard for our production team to find people fast.
So it's intentional when we have multiple rooms so that we know which room we're talking about. So generally what we want to have their number there because we want to tell our team. So we're like, hey, we've got John Smith in room 2 because we can see that he is in room 2, right? And so
There's
it's not an option when you have multiple rooms to be able to turn that off because we actually want it and need it to be able to see which room they're in. When you have gallery views that the host is looking at, they can see straight away which room they're in so that they can say John in room 2 or Jane in room 1. Does that make sense?
okay.
But I get
So
I
if
get
I
that it's adding
created,
three characters.
yeah, if I
So
created a whole area that I called viewing room, and then just have
totally.
and then have the AV team just make sure that everyone in that room can see
Exactly.
the main stage, right?
You're exactly right. Yeah, sorry, I didn't understand I didn't understand what you were trying to say
No,
there.
you were
So,
you were answering the
no,
right question. No, that worked.
well,
Yeah.
well, yes, except that you don't need multiple rooms in an area. You just need multiple areas, and that's the
Mhm.
difference, right? And that's the reason that we have areas and rooms like that is that when we need to scale our attendees across lots of rooms, then we
Mhm.
want them all in the same area because Obvio will load balance across those multiple rooms, right? So that if you're expecting to have 2,500 people come to your event, you might want 3 rooms and you want them to be separated across, and you want to know whether John is in room 2 or if he's in room 1 or 3 or whatever it is. And that's the way we see it, is that their name is named that way. But in your use case, you don't want it to be the same area. You want it to be a separate area. And generally, when we're creating new rooms, we're doing it in separate areas if they have separate tasks, right?
Okay.
It's it's only when we're doing a main stage area for lots of people that we would have multiple rooms in that area. Cool.
Perfect. Okay. And then the other Zoom question directly related to
Yeah.
Zoom. Two more
Hmm.
questions, actually. Um, Traditionally, we have a waiting room so that our team who is in the Zoom, that's being our Zoom monitors, they see that like so and so's in the waiting room, and then we tell them when to let everybody in. How does the waiting room work since we're using your Zoom? Is there still a
Hmm.
traditional waiting room like that, or?
Yeah, there is. We tend not to use it. So you totally can use it as a host in Zoom or a co-host in Zoom. You can enable the waiting room exactly the way that you've done it before, traditionally with Zoom, right? So hear that first. If you want to use it that way, you totally can. But the way that we do it is that we have an offline page. Um, and so you'll see, I'll show you this. So when we're looking at our Zoom areas, so for example, the area that everyone's in right now, 11 people in here, what we have is this offline text, right? So um, what that shows is sort of a full page branded to the same branding that you have for the whole dashboard, and fully customizable offline page, which is just saying, now we call it offline. You could call it a waiting room, right? Like, but the advantage is you can put videos in there, you can have links, you can be super clear about the timing. Um, it's just a nicer experience than you're now in the waiting room waiting for, we've let the host know we're, letting you in or whatever, right? So it's a a nicer experience. So
Okay.
the way that that works is from an area level, open area. So when that's closed, anyone who clicks the button will get that offline message, which is right here, offline text. And that's what they'll see. So generally what we do for our events is 2 hours before the event starts, we're coming in here, we're loading up everything, we're starting the Zoom meeting, we're turning off open area, so the area is closed. We're getting all of our production stuff set up and making sure everyone's all happy. And depending on whatever time frame, 30 minutes out, 45 minutes out from the start, whatever we want, we get a countdown timer going and we get our background music on and we open area. And now we've got like the whole experience is that people come, they might come early and they get music and countdown and maybe a host talking and whatever, right? And so
So
that's the process.
in the offline text part,
Yeah.
um, so you're saying, because I definitely we would want it to be a video playing. So is it as simple like I think it is as, insert it
Yeah.
embedded in there, right?
Yep. Yep.
And then it'll play the video
Yeah.
and they'll
Yep.
hear the sound from the video too.
Yep.
Oh, awesome.
Yep. Now that
Can you hover
that
over
is
that one more time where the embed thing is?
sure. Yep.
I'm gonna take a
Media
quick
embed.
screenshot.
Sure. Um,
Thank you.
yeah. So now remember that that is not uh, that is not a simulated live or a live video in that sense. It's just that whatever, you might have a 2 minute video that just says, we're so looking forward to today or whatever. That's what they would see. And people would see that all at different times and whatever. It's just an offline message. And often we will say on these pages for a large event, like our event starts at 5 o'clock, doors open at 4:30, right? Something like that. And that's where we plan our whole production schedule to have our attendees join early so that we can see them all there and we see all the faces and everything. We know that it's all working fine, and then we roll into the start. Does that make sense?
Yes, 100%.
That's
And if we embed a video into it, um, will it automatically set to loop to keep starting itself and replaying itself, or do we need to make the video on our end be a loop before we embed it?
Yeah. Yeah, the second one, it literally is just a page that people are going to. If you think about it, instead of it being a waiting room, it's just a full styled page. And so there's nothing special about that video if you want a video to play. It's just a video that, yeah, if you make it long and make it loop, then great. Um, Generally, we wouldn't have a countdown or anything on that because we would do that in Zoom. And so I'm just talking about like sort of best practice that we do um, is having enough time to have people actually in Zoom before the event starts so that it's all working nicely and they've got it all working well, right? Because if you're not doing tech checks and things like that, which is normal now, some people may not have Zoom installed, and so when we butt up really close to the start of the event, the chances of everyone just being all ready and everything's working is less because they may have to install Zoom or they get in, they can't hear, or something's not working, or they've got errors or whatever. So that's why we want to have, a decent time that you're opening the doors early to make sure that everything's all working. I'm not trying to tell you how to suck eggs because you clearly know how to put on an event, online events. You've done lots of it. And so, but I'm just talking in general terms for everyone about what our general best practices is for putting on an event. So,
And then if I did want to set up the offline text page, that part I understand now how to do.
yep,
Um, but if I still wanted to have that waiting room, so like you said, I can do doors open and then in Zoom be playing the video. So it's automatically playing for everyone instead of having them have to click a button in
exactly.
that offline page. How do I turn on the waiting room inside my Zoom area that I've already created?
Exactly the same way. The only real difference is that um, from using your own Zoom account to using Ovio's, in
Mhm.
your own Zoom account, you may, when you set up the meeting, you might have said enable waiting room, and so that it defaulted to being on, right? In Ovio, you just have to set it manually when you start the meeting. You can go to the host tools and click enable waiting room. It's literally
Yeah,
there on the first thing, right? So when you're a host or a
so
co-host, you go to host tools, enable waiting room.
perfect. Thank you.
Uh, any more questions for you?
Yes.
Go down.
So making someone a co-host, it's still the tradition, like other people in my team that need to be co-hosts who will have the ability to mute, unmute, man the waiting room, that kind of thing. Same thing. I just, when they come, I have them come into the Zoom early also and go ahead and make them a co-host, correct?
You can do it that way. Um, the better way is that you give them access to Zoom as a team member. Sorry, to Ovio as a Zoom member. Sorry.
Mhm. It's okay.
I can't- I'm correcting myself incorrectly. Um, a good way of doing it is that you make your team members give them team access to the Obvio backend, and then when they join as a co-host. And so you can please yourself. The way you just said will totally work and is absolutely fine. What I'm talking about is when you give people this access, it means that when they join, you don't have to keep on top of making them co-hosts. And when they join, they're automatically co-host, which means that if they get disconnected or they need to jump into another room or something and come back or whatever, every time they come back, they're a co-host, right? So the have you done any other team members in your
Yeah, I have
OBS setup?
two other team members in there. One of them is going to be our production team, and then the other one is Phil, who does our HubSpot integration part of things.
Right.
So I don't think I'll go that route just because I don't want someone from the team accidentally doing something else in the back
So
end of
let
Obvio.
So let me explain that to you then, because you can control the scope of what they have access to, right?
Oh.
Yeah. So you can see here that, an admin can do all of these things, right? So create events, change, all this sort of stuff. For the team members you're talking about, it could be that you just want to create a new one called co-host, and all they can do, they can't they can't start. Let me check. Um, they can start. That is actually what I want. Start areas. Start areas and start rooms. There. Yeah. So they can literally just, I mean, you might find there's other things that you're happy for them to do as well, but in general, they could just start rooms. So when they log into Obvio on the back end, they won't see the dashboard editor and any of those things, even attendees. They'll just see Zoom areas, and they'll see the Zoom area and they'll go there, and it'll just be join. And so you can really kind of um, lock that down to just that role. Um, as I said, you can totally do it the way you've always done it, and you can just make them co-hosts. But this is a pretty cool setup, particularly for sort of ongoing, where you just don't have to worry. You just know there'll be a co-host when they join. You can have a little play around with that.
And I lied. There's actually two more things related to
Muddy, did
Zoom that
you want to add to that?
I did just one comment. You said, can I have them just join early and make them co-host? The only way that they would be able to join early if you haven't opened the area for your attendees yet, right? Because what we're talking about with the offline page, if you keep the area closed, the room is open, you're in Zoom, but the area is closed, that means the button doesn't work from the dashboard. If anybody clicks the button, they're going to get to the offline page if the area is closed. So if you wanted them to just come in before you had it open, you would want to give them the direct access link to the room. If you gave them the direct access link to the room, oftentimes we refer to that, I refer to that as a speaker link, but that enabled direct. So that one says
Oh, sorry,
area.
that's the
If you
yeah,
click the
yeah. Thank
room
you.
button itself, there's one at the room level as well. And that one would allow people to come in even if the area is closed. So that way team members could come in with that, but they would come in as attendees, not co-hosts, but that's fine. At least they're in the room before the doors
yeah.
are open.
Thank you, Muddy.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, and that is a great way. And sometimes, as Muddy's saying, sometimes we call that like uh, a speaker link, because often a speaker that's just kind of flying in and out for a session, they don't care about your dashboard and all that stuff. They just want, like, tell me where I need to be. And so you can give them that link, that gets them straight into the Zoom meeting, and then away you go. Um, and so same, you could send that all to your team. They all get in early, you make them co-hosts, and away you go. Or you can do the other team way of doing it, so that they can join themselves whenever.
Gotcha.
Hmm.
And then on the dashboard, there's those emojis. When I click on them, nothing happens. What are they supposed to do?
Yeah. So what there is in production, in the production tools. Let me show you. The what the concept of this is that it's more designed for when people click the buttons on click those emojis. There is a page that you can open on a device, on a screen, sometimes in a set. If you've got the studio set up and there's a screen behind, then the production team can overlay the emojis on top of a screen, and now you can see all these emojis flying up behind people. So you might have seen that before with other Obvio events, right? So
Yes.
they don't the attendee doesn't see it themselves on the dashboard at all. They would see it. So I've gone to production and emoji page. And what happens now is that when we open this page, you can set it up as being like you could have a background image on it. There you go, look at that. You can have a background image on it, or you can have it black like this and let people let people have it on a black image where you could bring it into a production setup where it's able to be transparent and overlaid. So that's why it's in the production tools. It's used in a way for a studio team to be able to overlay emojis on top of screens. Does that make sense?
I'm
Yes.
smashing the hearts to give you something to view on
Thank you,
there.
dude.
Great.
Yeah, thank you. You did great. Yeah, so that's how that works. So let me just say that again. I'm a bit tired today, I think. There's two in that screen just before that I was on. You can customize this, and you could put like a holding image, like your event logo, and that could be on a TV even behind you. It's just like a nice event branding, and then it has these emojis, and so you literally just have a computer that you've logged into this, open this screen, you can see this nice logo, and then you can see emojis as they fly up and people if they click on them. It's
Okay,
particularly good. Sorry.
so like when our speakers on stage and the gallery view is behind them, and people were to start clicking on the hearts like crazy, it'll show a bunch of hearts on that big giant screen behind them, not necessarily the person in Zoom seeing that it's showing the heart in their little box.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And it really is a larger scale feature, right? When you start going across multiple rooms and you have, hundreds and hundreds of people, because it's a central place that we can do it. When you're running one room for your main stage, people can use the emojis in Zoom, right?
Mhm.
And do it that way. And so you may not need to do it through Obvio. It's when we're trying to, oh, hang on, we've got 10 rooms going. We've got,
Yeah.
5,000 people here. Now we want a single place where we can see all the emojis, not individually in the room. So that's what that's about. So you may find that
Getting
you
that.
just turn that off or, whatever.
Yeah. I think it's like you said, since there's only one room, I feel like that's
Yeah,
extra work on the AV production side that's not necessarily needed for this specific event.
right.
So, okay. And then we don't allow note takers, AI, Fathom, all that stuff in our events.
Hmm.
Am I able to set the Zoom up to automatically decline them from coming in? Or again, is that going to be something my co-hosts, like they do regularly, have to kick them out as they come in?
No, so the nice thing is that they generally can't get into an Obvio meeting, right? So because of the way that we have Zoom locked down,
Mhm.
it requires a registration and it requires an approved registration to be able to get in. So those systems can't actually join. Even if you give them a link, even if you gave them the Zoom link that you can get from within Zoom, it's going to take it to a registration page, and it's not going to get approved even if they fill in the
Yeah,
registration page, right?
because it
So
doesn't
that
have
won't
a
work.
name and an email,
Well, yeah, but even
right?
if it did, and it filled all that in. So let's say someone sends their link, the Zoom link to a friend, and they want them to join the Zoom meeting. That friend is going to get a registration page. They're going to fill a Zoom registration page. They're going to fill in that registration page, and then it's going to say, um, waiting for the host to approve this registration. It goes nowhere. They never get back. They never get into Zoom. The only way to get into an Obvio Zoom meeting is through the Obvio dashboard or the direct access links.
Okay.
So that kind of cuts off all those note takers.
Okay, so then that being said, that makes me think of something else. So someone who wants to be on two devices, like because they want to have their dashboard accessible on one and they want the Zoom or the actual event playing on a big screen, right?
Yep.
Um, I know they just log in through their unique link twice, or will I have to give them the direct access link?
No, no, no. So people can access the dashboard on as many devices as they want. We don't limit dashboard access. What we do limit by default is that only one person with the registration can join Zoom at once, meaning um, meaning that Tiffany can be in the Zoom meeting only once. So you might have your dashboard open on 5 devices. That's fine. And you might send your dashboard link to 5 of your friends. But if you're already in Zoom, none of those friends will be able to join Zoom, even as Tiffany, because you're already there, right? So that's the
Ah,
default setting. That's the default setting. And just for completeness, there is a setting that when you create an area, you can say allow multiple devices. And there are certain cases sometimes where we want a craft event, for an example. They want to join on their computer and they also want to join on their phone. And so in
mhm.
order to do that, we allow multiple devices. But generally on our events, and that's why we default it, we only really want one person in, so that we only see one Tiffany and not 10 Tiffany's, because it'll come in as you each time. So that's the way that that works. Dashboard can
I
open
love
on as
that.
many devices as you want. You can only join Zoom once when you don't have multiple devices enabled.
That makes me so happy.
Good.
Um, and
I
then
will just sorry, I will just say just to be clear about note takers and things, because there's so many of these now. There are some note takers that are built into. I mean, you can't stop people screen capturing and whatever, right? And recording on another device, right? That can happen. And there are some note takers that if people are smart and they join via the browser of Zoom, having the Zoom join through the browser, and they have a plugin that can do, note taking and whatever, you can't really stop that because that's on the computer side. But the fancy, just join every meeting that I'm in, note takers, they won't be able to get in.
got
Yep.
it. Muddy, did you want to share something more on that?
Yeah.
I see his hand
I wanted
raised.
to share the two things to understand about the people can join from multiple devices. If you by default, it's checked that they cannot, and if they try to join, it's going to say you're already logged in on another device. But it also means if I've got to run and I want to switch over to my phone, I actually have to leave the meeting from here before I can join on my phone. So if people are going to be doing that during the meeting, it's useful just to let them know that.
Love that. Thank you.
Yeah. Good call.
And then on the features page, let me share my screen. I only have a few more. I promise you guys. Sorry. On the features page, I had I have some gamification questions that are going to come up as things are going on throughout each day.
Okay.
When they fill this out and then hit submit, is it automatically going to make that disappear, or do I have to manually deal with that?
Uh, so in the form settings, um, there is the ability to allow multiple submissions, which you
I have
wouldn't
that turned
want.
off.
Yeah, good. So now it won't disappear, but it will just say, I think it's just forms completed or whatever you set up as once it's submitted, it'll just say that. It'll say like in the form settings you can say what is the response when they submit. And so
Mhm.
then it'll say something like, form submitted or whatever you want to say, thank you for your, submission or thanks for your
But
answers or whatever you want to say. So
so
it'll
this
collapse a
stuff
little bit, but it
show.
won't, it'll collapse, but it won't disappear.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Hmm.
And then um where's my other document? Sorry. So that answers that question.
Hmm.
And then if I want to exclude certain people from being able to participate in the gamification, like I don't want my mentors or my team participating in the gamification because I want it to only be the attendees, is there a way to exclude them by choosing specific HubSpot properties or no?
Yeah. Yeah. So you would do that if you just show your form again there. The
Oh, I'm not sharing my
form,
screen.
yeah. So the form that you've got there, so rules, yeah. And now you can add a rule.
And just okay, so this it just won't show up for them.
You can do either, right? So you can either exclude people or you can include people based on the route on the rule. Yeah.
I've also set up rules that like when they join the main event, they're getting points. When they download a PDF, one of our resources, they're getting points.
Nice.
So how would I exclude them from that? Like in join the main event, um they're getting points. I mean, if it's not possible, I definitely am fine with removing it and
No,
letting them play.
it's a good question. Muddy, have you got a thought on that? I'm just thinking through how I do that. I do have, yeah. So I tell you one way that I have seen this before is that particularly like those things like joining the meeting, things like that, is having two separate buttons. So you create a button for your moderators and whatever, and you
Uh-huh.
display that for them, and you hide the public one
Got
from
it.
them, and you hide the moderator one from the public, right? And so um, yeah, so that can work really well because you can define a few things. Then you can make it super clear. It's actually um, yeah, it's one of the things I really love about the dashboard is being able to customize it based on groups and tags and things, properties. Um, because you can, particularly for team, you can hide a whole bunch of stuff they just don't need to see. Make it
Mhm.
super easy for them to join.
Yeah, they only get to
And
see
then
two buttons.
yeah, right. And then and then you can do things like disabling points, for them. So
Okay. That's all that I have, you guys.
it
Thank you
is
so much. I appreciate it.
nice.
And I did notice Grant Mabel, who you called on earlier, who wasn't here. I saw her pop in at some point while we were talking.
Look at you doing some support for me. Thank you. Nice work. Um, Sweet. All right, great. Thank you, Tiffany. They're all great questions, and you're doing awesome. Like it's like you're looking at every feature on them. Like, yep, enable. Yes, I'm doing that, and I'll do that. And why wouldn't I?
Thank you.
Like
I've had a
looks
lot of
good.
fun with it. And this morning I actually got to show it to our CEO and to our team, and everyone loved it so far. So thank
Awesome.
you all for all your help you've been giving me throughout this process.
No worries at all. Yeah, great. Um, Sweet. All right. So Mabel, I think Mabel might be here, perhaps. We'll see if she's listening. Um, are you listening? Let me check here. Oh, okay. I'm going to assume that Mabel is listening. So the question was about holding an event for 800 participants. See, my plan allows for 500. I know I can get 250 extras. How should I order these blocks and how do I assign them to a certain event? Okay, great questions. So let's just talk about first that an attendee, and when we talk about having 500 on the pro plan, that's 500 active attendees. Active means that they've gone to the dashboard, like they've seen the dashboard. So sometimes we have an events where people have signed up and it's really easy for them to sign up and now they're an attendee in Obvio and we might have 1,000 people that are attendees in Obvio. But when it comes to the event, they never show up. They don't even come to the dashboard. Well, they're not considered an active attendee. They're not considered in the number of the calculation of 500. So it's only the people that do come. So that's nice to know, right? Is that they've actually come to the dashboard. But hopefully out of 800, you're going to get more than 500 that do actually show up and come to the dashboard. And so in this, at this point, how is it that you buy add-ons? On the pro plan, it's $100 and you'll get 250 more attendees for the life of the event, right? So the event might be something that you're doing weekly, as an example. Well, that's totally fine. You buy an add-on block, you'd get 750 for the life of the event. The way that you assign it, you don't need to assign it to an event. It gets automatically assigned to an event that needs it. And so when you go to your organization settings, which is just clicking on the organization up in the top right, and then you'll see a button called add-ons. You go to add-ons, you buy an add-on. Now, you either do this before you need it, which is the preferred way to do it, or what will happen is as soon as you go over your 500 limit, there'll be a pop-up that happens in Obvio. It won't prevent anyone joining. People will still be able to join, but it does prevent you from making changes in Obvio at that point, and it's just asking you to buy an add-on. And so you go ahead and you pay for the add-on. It'll get assigned to the people, and then Obvio all starts working again for you. So that's the way that add-ons work. I will just say to anyone that needs this that I always say, particularly when it's event time, if you get this you need for an add-on and you think that's wrong or the calculations are wrong or whatever, if you can make it work, generally I just say just buy the add-on, get your event done, and then contact us and we can do refunds or we can talk about, what went on and we can explore all that afterwards, right? That's the best way to do it, is that we can always do refunds, but we can't, like in the heat of the moment, you just want to get the event happening and done, and not be trying to sort of fix a problem with us, live at that point. So that's generally how that works. Hopefully, Mabel, she may have stepped. Oh, there we go. So should I wait? Look, if you either way, look, what will happen is if you were to buy that add-on and you had 495 people show up, that add-on won't get used. It'll just be sitting in your organization ready to be used at some point. And so if I was you, I would just buy the add-on now and just know that you've got it up your sleeve. It won't be wasted. And even, as I said before, if you get past the event and you're like, do you know what? I don't really need that add-on anymore. Can you refund it? You send an email to help@obv.io and we'll organize a refund if that. So I always think anything you can do before your event, do it to make your event run smoothly so that you don't have to think about it. So great. You're welcome. Win, win, win. There you go. Thank you, Priscilla. All right. Good one, Mabel. So, speaking of Priscilla, please show me where I can download the transcript from my last event. November. You might be all right. So technically you've got 60 days to to be able to download. I'm glad you're muted right now, Priscilla. I feel like I'd have to wash my ears.
Are you
Um,
reading my? My
yes,
gosh, fuck! I did not know this. Oh my goodness, I would have had a
but
fire lit under my ass a little bit sooner. And I know there's also videos. Is that also 60 days?
it is. But
This is great
you may
training
be.
for everybody else.
Yeah, that's right. It does. Yeah, it does say it in the recordings page. You'll see that, but at the moment, you might be okay because of the way that we've got our account settings at the moment. So if you go into Zoom areas and the Zoom
Yes.
wherever you
Yep.
were, the Zoom
Yep.
area, click on that Zoom area and then recordings, the top right.
Okay, bear with me. Let me just okay. Let me just get some other things closed down. Oh, bear with me here. Update.
You're okay.
I'm on the dashboard. Do I go? No, I need to go into my Obvio. Bear with. Oh, no,
Yep.
here. I know. Okay, I'm here. So I'm in the Zoom. Okay, where do I go?
So Zoom areas,
Yep, Zoom areas. Yes, and it says
and
main
then
stage.
cool, click on main stage,
Yep, yep.
and then recordings in the top right.
Yes,
Click on that
yes.
and see what
And
dates. It might take a little bit to load, or it might say
um,
there's none there.
no, there are some there. Please remember
Okay, good.
recordings are deleted after 60 days. Thank
There you go.
God. Uh-huh. And because we did some preliminary stuff. So then, okay, great. So then do I go to download and then it says
Okay, so
download?
hit the arrow on the right of that download button, and it'll give
Yep.
you some options.
Audio only or active speaker. There's no transcript.
Yeah. So there was a little window of time where the transcript wasn't
Oh,
being recorded.
oh, you know what? Oh no, hang on, because that
That
was
was
the
a different
preliminary
video.
day on yeah, that was the 6th, and my event didn't start till the 7th. And guess what?
Might be right.
I have download all, I have shared screen with speaker, active speaker, shared screen with gallery, transcript,
There you go.
chat file. Yes. And then part 2, that's my afternoon, audio transcript.
There you
Audio
go.
transcript would just be the transcript. Okay. And
Yep.
then day 8, audio transcript, day 8, audio transcript.
Okay,
Yep.
so
Yeah,
so please
it
go
looks
ahead
like
and
it's okay.
and download all those recordings while you can now.
Yes, I will.
Because
And do you
they may not.
recommend I record, do you recommend that I download them um,
Yes.
on a separate or an external drive?
So
Because I think I
if you
prepared, I'm a smarty pants. I think I prepared in advance. I pre-decided in advance that I'm going to need an external drive for all this stuff. So would you
um
recommend Aaron's, and Rick is
yes,
going, no,
backup.
okay, so.
Yeah. Backup is important. So
Okay,
basically, I would say that you don't have a copy of it until you have backups, right? And so the backup
interesting.
backup strategy is always a 3-2-1, three different copies in two different locations and one in the cloud. 3-2-1.
Okay,
So
100%. Let me just, so 3, 2, 1. Let me just say
Yeah.
3,
So
2, 1.
it's just
So
a nice way of
three,
thinking
two,
about it.
one. So 3 copies,
3 copies
different
in 2 different
locations.
locations, and one in the cloud,
And
which
where's the
could be,
cloud? Like my cloud or
yeah, like as in, when I say cloud, that could be Dropbox, it could be Google Drive, it could be OneDrive, it could be, like often we have access to some of these drives because they're included. If you've got Office 365, then you've got OneDrive with a terabyte on it. If you've got
yep.
Google Drive, you'll have you have some storage there that you could store it. And so it's just kind of having something is always nice to have some copies around.
Okay. Excellent. I will certainly do that. I really appreciate it. I'm excited, so I'm gonna do it now. And
Good.
I'm gonna sign off because I've got to go in another meeting. Appreciate you all.
No problems at all. You're welcome,
Okay.
Amy. I love that. I always save a copy and then forget where I saved it for safekeeping.
Yeah, me too. You're not alone, Amy.
I love that.
Yeah, I'm like the
It's
Russian
very
doll of
safe.
copies. Yeah, like
It's very safe if no one knows where it is. That's very safe. Yeah.
Okay,
All
everyone. Take
right.
care. Thanks, Graham.
Great. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Priscilla. You're welcome. Bye-bye. All right. We're getting through, people. Um, so I'm working through questions that are posted on the dashboard. And so just for those playing at home. Um, so let's see. Okay. Barbara is next. Hello, Barbara. Can you tell us step by step exactly what we need to do to ensure the login URL link will connect between Obvio and Go High Level? Of course. How did your event go?
It was, I mean, it was good. It was
It
not
was an
very many
event.
people. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was not very many people, so it was which was a bummer. But the actual event itself went
Mm-hmm.
actually really well and really
Great.
no flaws, no tech holdups, none of that stuff. So that was nice.
Great.
Yeah, so
So just
I already
onward
have
and
my next
upward.
one planned. I already came
Good.
up with the dates for the next one. So, and I already know what I want to do. Well, some things I want to do differently, but
Yeah.
I'm glad I did it. So
Sweet.
that's half the battle.
Yeah. Okay. So um, Justin and Blue and I were just comparing notes a little bit on your setup, and I do remember that a couple of weeks before we were having a look at your particularly at your high level workflow, and I remember seeing that there was 2 things that happened. We ended up deleting it or asking you to delete a part of it, which was it was almost looping back on itself. The Obvio URL. It was saying fill in the URL, the Obvio URL with the Obvio URL. So it was kind of like it was looping back on itself. And so I
Okay.
think what was happening at one point there was that an attendee would get created, the the link would get pushed into high level into that URL, and then that workflow would run, and then it would kind of like it was pointing at itself, saying, "I'll populate it with itself," and it wouldn't have anything at that point. It would delete. So I think that might have been something that was going on, but I also think there might have been 3 or 4 layers of things that might have been interrupting. Because what's important to know is that we had other events using high level with no problems, right? Like as in it was the processes were working right. So it feels like there was an issue on that high level workflow.
hmm
So,
I get
yep.
that. The thing is
Mm.
the one I had just done the week before, it all went fine, and I set it up the same way on the second one. Um, so I just want to make sure I have the steps that So I know exactly what I need to follow. I'm very good with checklists. If somebody tells
Yeah.
me step by step what to do, I can do that. And I feel pretty confident and go high level at this point. Well, I shouldn't say confident. I feel competent and go high level at this point. That
Yep.
I understand how things are talking to each other, whereas before I don't think I really put all that together.
Okay.
So because I do want to set it up well in advance this time,
Yeah.
just so I can make sure that I can start putting my sales page out there and I can feel very comfortable that it's going to work. So I just,
Yeah.
yeah. And I get that there could have been some underlying trigger that I didn't realize I put in there, and 100% I get that.
Yeah.
That's why I just want to be like, step by step, what do I do?
Yeah, sure. Well, and you're at the right time where we're trying to get some documentation around this to make it super clear. Um, and we haven't got that yet. Well, we have, I think I just need to check because um, did Justin send you a little Loom video of
He
connecting it
did.
through? Yep. So
He did.
that's totally the setup. And I think being, yeah, you don't think so?
No, I think it is, but it's what I
Yeah.
followed and it didn't work the second time I did it. The first
Yeah,
time
I
I
think,
did it on the first dashboard, it worked just fine. And the second time I did it, it didn't. And I didn't know what was going on. I will also say this is one thing I thought of, and I should mention this as well as, and I have no idea if this would affect it, but I started in a different template on my second event. I started in the town hall template. And then I
hmm
said, I want to change my template, bring all this stuff over to the cards.
hmm,
And there were a couple of snafus when I did that. And I think it was James that was on the line with me who, because none of my squares were looking like squares, or there were some places they were squares, some places they weren't. And so I thought maybe it's because I changed templates midway through that something happened. I have no idea. But yes, I do have a loom and I've saved all the looms that Justin did for me.
yep.
Um, so I do have that. And but that's what I
Okay.
followed.
Um, yeah, there was definitely something else happening. And so there was some overlapping workflows or something. So the best case scenario is kind of looking at, and that this is one of the things with high level is that um you can have multiple workflows going and not know it super easily, right? Because it's based on a tag and you're saying um, this tag that Obvio has given me is the one that I want to track. So, and I think I'm confident that Justin's loom is correct. But
Hmm.
if I was to give you just the overall steps that we talk about and try to keep this really simple, what we're doing, and this is helpful for everyone, and actually is the same, pretty much the same across all of the integrations. With high level, it's we specifically say we create the tag, and we say this is the tag that we're going to keep track of.
We
So,
meaning Obvio. Is that what
yeah,
when you say we?
that's
Okay,
right.
okay.
Yep. And so by before you do anything with Obvio, let's assume that in Go High Level, you've already set up your sign up page, whatever that is. Could include money, it could not, whatever it is. All that Obvio cares about is that there is a contact that has been given this tag, and the tag that we have said when you do the integration with Obvio, it says this is the tag that we're going to watch.
Mhm.
So at that point, all you need to do is make sure that the tag is applied to the contact at the end of the purchase, sign up, whatever.
Right.
Where I know that we had issues was actually in that step was including Obvio URLs, and that step doesn't need to include that at all in high level. You don't need to talk about that at all because at
So
and the Obvio side is where you're telling it when I see that a contact has been tagged with this, where do you want me to put? There's a couple of things you can say. When I create an attendee, do you want me to make another tag? And what do you want to call that? and where do you want me to put the login URL? So you don't need to do anything on the high level side at that point. All you're doing is you're tagging the contact, and in Obvio you're saying this is where I want you to put the login URL. And so once you do that, the process is someone signs up, they get tagged, Obvio sees that tag and then says, great, I've created I've taken their first name, last name, email, and I've created an attendee in Obvio. And now I'm going to push the login URL into the field that you told me to. And now we're done. And so there's no workflow that happens at that point, right? Like that just happens. It's
Hold,
only at
pause
the
it can you just pause for a second? I just want to make sure I understood. So Obvio will once they get this, they take the contact information and then they actually push out the login URL tag. That's what you're saying.
correct.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
login
Okay.
URL field. Yep.
Mhm.
Custom field. Yep. And so now it's up to you as to whether you're doing a welcome, you're trying to do like a welcome email.
Yeah.
Chances are you're not wanting to include the Obvio URL in your welcome email, right? Because they're a couple of weeks out. They don't need access to the dashboard yet. So you don't
Mhm.
need to use that data. So that's independent as well. Their whole process, you've tagged them with the right Obvio tag, and then they've gone on and you've done a welcome email and thank you and whatever. That's all just high level. When it comes to a day out whenever you want them to be able to go to the dashboard, well, now you're able to you set up an email to go out that says, here's your Obvio link. Here's
Yes. Yeah.
your login link, right?
Mhm.
So that's at a really basic level. That's what we're doing, and
Right.
I think that's where we there might have been some things overlapping there, where as part of the process of tagging, it was also trying to do an Obvio URL thing. But I think there's more to it than that as well. So there was something else that
Yeah.
was going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I tried it two different ways. So I tried it exactly like I did on the first event.
Mm,
And well, I went through a whole
it
lot
just
of
wasn't
stuff. I was
working.
actually trying to have Replit help me out, and then the Go High Level
Right.
people were trying to help me out. And so anyway, so I just scrapped that because it just wasn't working. So I just scrapped
Right.
that and I started it again and and did what you're saying. I
Hmm.
will say though, I did try two different ways because I remember when I brought my workflow to you on the first event, I
Yeah.
had under my contacts where I had a tag, uh, some kind of a tag at the very bottom. And you're like, you don't need that. I'm like, are you sure? Because I don't want to delete it if I need it. And you said, I'm sure you don't need this because you already have a separate tag set up. I was like, okay. So I did that same thing.
Yeah.
Um, and it didn't work. So then I did try another flow where I put in under the not a separate one, but within the context, like capture contact. I
Yeah.
had first name, last name, email, and then I had a fourth line that was a tag and it was for the event.
Yeah.
Um, but either way, they weren't, it wasn't working properly. And again, you're right. There's something else that's happening. I will also say that first event, I did not charge anything, so there was no payment link that had to be involved. And the
Uh-huh.
second one there was. And so I really have a feeling something that happened with this payment link of
Right.
going to Replit because Replit had the form and then it had the thank you form and all that jazz.
Right.
I feel like somewhere in there was also a challenge. So I just wrote down what exactly you just said, like what is actually happening. I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
I get that. I'm there
Hmm.
now. Whereas if I weren't, I would for sure tell you, like, I don't get it, but I do get it.
Yep.
So, you know,
So the sequence of setup I think is really important too, Barbara. So like before worrying about the Obvio side, you want to know that your full process in high level is working nicely. And so so that whatever the sign up or purchase or whatever you choose is all working great, and the contact gets created in high level. All of that is working nicely, and so that you want to know that that's correct,
Mhm.
because the sequence then is that, okay, that's all done and I know it's great. Now I want to integrate Obvio to add the tag, this specific tag, and that's all I want to do at this point. I just want to add the Obvio tag. That's it. I'm not doing anything fancy with login URLs or anything. And then the third step is, now I want to send the email for people to be able to use that login URL. You see what I
Mhm.
mean? It's kind of
Yeah.
like keeping it really
Mhm.
separate, those steps separate, because we can, yeah, it's very easy to get confused and to be able to
Yeah.
overlap all these steps. But if we do it in those three steps, I think that will help. And then if you play with that, and then we can do some tests and things, and we want to make sure that, because I know it was a very sucky time, and I'm sorry that you went all through all of that.
Nope. Taught me a
You
lot.
know, it's hard though too, and I've done this so many times when you're troubleshooting something, and you can get confused by something, and then you go down this whole other line. I do this all the time. It's like you go down this line, and you're like, I'm totally in the fork in the road. I totally went down the wrong road, and I've just spent
Yeah.
hours. And it was like,
Yeah.
oh no, I'm just seeing it in the wrong perspective. I got it around the wrong way or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, but we
So,
we are stepping up our documentation and stuff around this stuff to make it super clear.
okay. So what you just talked about is making the flow and go high level first, and
Yep.
then adding in the tag and then adding in the email.
Correct.
So
Yep.
actually, I did do all that, and I tested
Right.
them. I did that test where how you can test it in the flow just to make sure it's working, and then even when I got to the test email,
Hmm.
I got a dashboard perfectly fine. Like when I did it to my email, it opened up my dashboard perfectly fine. And
Right.
then when I did it to real people, it didn't at
Not so
all.
fun. Yeah.
You're right.
No.
So again, that was another part I will say one thing I've learned is I don't do too much work with it because I have learned way too many times that there's some kind of a glitch and it's actually not me. So I just
Sure.
assume all the time that's what it is. Because when I
Yeah.
used to do stuff like this, I would spend like hours doing it and then realize there was some kind of a glitch. So
Yep.
I mean, I try not to go down that path, but it is hard when you're kind of at the last
No.
minute. But um
And I don't want you to hear from me that it was all your fault, right? Because and this is what sucks, is when you're doing a test, and Go High Level's integration with us is slow at that point, or like it's an hour behind or something, right? Or
yeah,
they've changed something in the way that we talk to them, and now something's not quite right, and then
right,
we're like a day later, okay, now yeah, we've fixed that, it's all working fine. You're in the middle of testing, you don't know whether it's you or it's one of the
right,
services that we rely on, right? And so
right,
I
right.
don't I don't rule that out at all. And so
Yeah.
it is it that's just it's our modern way of using all these
That's
services, is that we
right.
rely on services to be working, and
Yeah.
sometimes you just don't know what part of it broke, which side of it is not working, and was it
Hmm.
me in the way I set it up, or was it you in the way that it's now currently working? And um, to a point, there's no real way of knowing,
Right. Hmm.
apart from just like keeping things super simple, and
Yeah.
um and then testing over time. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Giving
will say
yourself
on
lots of
that
time.
note,
Yeah.
I will say on that note, one thing I love Replit.
Yeah. It's
And
cool.
but I will say it's pretty specific integration to actually get it to work with Go High
Right.
Level. Um, so while I'm not going to make stuff in Go High Level that looks like Replit, because I'm going to keep that part of it. One thing I did learn is, and this is for everybody listening, I don't know who else here, if there's any people, but is
Yeah.
that I would have the least amount of interactions I have to have between Go High Level and Replit. Like just one connection, just get your sales page there and then do your
Right.
thank you page in Go High Level, do your
Right.
whatever else needs to be happening, just do it all in Go High Level because those things are
Good one.
easy. Sales page
That's
isn't
good
as
advice.
easy because Replit is pretty good on that. But
Yeah.
because I do think all this whole like talking back and forth and then also trying to now make sure that we're not leaving Obvio out of the loop or whatever. I
Right.
think all of that together is what was making, and especially because I had to do on my first event, the thank you page showed up immediately because there was no payment. And
Yeah.
then everything went over to Go High Level.
Gotcha.
Whereas
Yes.
the other one is they could put in their information on the sales page and then they get the payment page and maybe they don't pay, but you got to capture all their contact information.
Yes.
And then some
Yeah.
of them do pay, and then it's got to go back and give you your thank you page and Replit. And so
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
those are just the word of the wise, the people out there is that,
Yeah.
um, keep that part as simple as keep as much as, and not and just Go High Level, but ClickFunnels or whatever it is you have,
Yeah.
just have that one link, bring in that sales page in or that opt-in page in, and then just kind of keep everything else streamlined. I think that would have helped my brain a lot because
Sure.
I would have
Yeah.
had more control as opposed to Replit having control. And Replit's not a real person. I mean, Replit's just kind of like punting at some point. I
Oh
even said
yeah.
that to him.
Yeah.
I was
That,
like,
yeah.
sounds
Yeah.
like you're making things up at this point.
I
I
know.
said I call it a he. It's not a he, but
Yeah. Yeah.
anyway, and it says, yes, I am just trying to guess at this point because I don't know what I should be
No.
doing with Go High Level. So,
Yeah.
um, so long story short, I mean,
Yeah.
the question I asked you was, what are the steps? And I think
Mm.
even just this way you broke it down of just do your flow and Go High Level first,
Mm.
and then connect in. Well, for me, I would connect in my Replit, however that has to happen. And then
Hmm.
just keep everything in Go High Level and just add your next phase of now connected to Obvio with
Yeah.
the tag, which is a separate tag from what I remember. It's a separate tag. It's not part of the contact person. And I'll try that. And I am gonna try it soon just because
Yeah.
I
Give yourself
I
plenty
just
of
want to get
time.
it off my plate. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah. Yeah. So much of this is about having the train just move in one direction, because it's just
mhm.
like, okay, so
Yeah,
we start with Replit, it moves to high level, and I agree with you. Don't go then back to Replit,
right.
like
Mhm.
stay at high level at that point. That's completed that section. Now we integrate into Obvio and we get that data added. And now we send a welcome, come
Yeah.
join us email, and now, so then now it's like, okay, that's the train, so,
Yep. Yep.
um,
Okay.
yeah, anyway,
I
good
get
work.
that. Cool.
All
I
right.
do have some
Yeah.
follow-up questions from
Yeah,
other
sure.
people that the things that Tiffany was saying. So one of them that Tiffany was talking about, you said we could put an offline text in there and we could do that. We could add a video to it. Um, so if they go in, does that video automatically show up or is it going to be something they click on that they can then watch?
It'll be just a click on, like it's just a YouTube
Okay.
video, or a whatever, Vimeo or whatever. Um, and yeah, it's not a special page in any way. It's just that um, click the button to join Zoom. Okay, is the Zoom area open or not? If it's not,
Mhm.
I'm going to just push them to this static page.
Yeah.
And the only thing about that static page that's a little bit unique is that it's still in the background checking if the Obvio area is open, and as soon as it's open, it pushes them and redirects them into Zoom. So that's the
Oh, well,
that's the
that's
only
good.
thing
I
that's
didn't
happening.
recognize that part
Yeah.
either. Okay. Okay.
And you
So
can
I
even
just the
say
reason.
that on the page. You can say,
Oh.
we'll be opening soon. You'll be
Mhm.
redirected once we open, that type of thing. But then, yeah,
That was
put a video on there and they can watch it.
that's why I was asking because I didn't know if I should
Okay.
put some kind of wording in there saying, you can watch this video and yeah, so that's perfect. That's what I needed to know. And then the second one was trying to think what else I put in here. Oh, the first person you were talking to and setting up the Zoom areas and the Zoom and then the rooms, opening the rooms and whatnot. Here's just a lesson I learned. I don't think she's here anymore, but a lesson they learned, which I'm sure you already know and I'm sure you've told us, but I didn't
Mhm.
in the moment. I didn't. So when I set up in the settings, this is just kind of for everybody if you're setting this up in settings, I just put the actual start time of my event. However, if
Mhm.
you do the actual start time of your event, and then you actually want to open rooms ahead of time, you're going to be in a
Yes.
test room for the first 60 minutes.
Right.
And so luckily Justin was online. I think it was James was online, and he
Hmm.
was telling me really quickly what I need to do because nobody could get in. I had opened the
Right.
room, but nobody could get in. And I was getting messages because some of these people know me personally. And
Right.
so just FYI, put it out there that your event starts at least an hour before you want it to start. So then you can open the Zoom rooms and areas. The rooms will open. No, I'm sorry. The area will open, but the rooms won't open. Um, they'll be in test mode. And that was another quick learning experience. And then he's trying to tell me he would do stuff. I was like, they're in. I got it fixed. Don't touch a thing. So, because anyway, that was it. So, okay. Thank you very much. I think that was all. That was only two follow-ups I had. Let me look at my notes here really quick. I think that was, um, yeah. Oh, I did have one thought. So when we're in the Zoom room, so let's say they come into the Zoom and I have it open 15 minutes in advance and I'm not there, and I can have, you said I could have this countdown timer on and I could have music on. That's
Yeah.
basically just me sharing with sound and sharing with a timer on okay, I just want to make sure that wasn't something
Yes, it
in
is.
Zoom or in Obvio
No.
that I missed. So, okay, that was it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And some people like go to YouTube. It's like, I need a 20-minute countdown. YouTube, 20-minute countdown. Yeah, here's
Yeah,
one. That'll do. Share that.
yeah,
Share sound. Away we go. Yeah.
perfect.
So yeah,
Yep, that's what
you
I
can
thought.
totally
Okay,
keep
just
it
wanted to
simple
make
like
sure.
that. Yep. No
Cool.
worries.
Oh, and I did have one more question. Sorry. It was the very first person as well. I was because it was one of the first things that you did, and
Uh-huh.
I did not know, I didn't realize anyway, that there's a sign up form right in Obvio.
Sure.
So they
Yeah.
can sign up. So when would I choose that over like my sales page and then they get emails from me in a workflow? Like when would I decide to choose that?
Um, yeah, okay. So the way that that works is it really obviously is for free events, right? So you're not
Right.
paying,
Yep.
not charging tickets. It's just getting people into Ovio. Generally, when you've got a CRM in place, the thing is that you probably, for those free events, you're probably gonna want to have them sign up to something. And
Right. Okay.
that's the difference. So to answer the question specifically, you use it on an event where you just want to get people in super easy and quickly, um, and then you're going to have to do follow up with them and probably get them to opt in to something because you'll have their contact details in Ovio,
Yeah.
but you won't necessarily have them. You haven't had them opt in, to be on your list, which
Right.
is really it's really what you want.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
and so, but it's kind of just rough and ready, get people in, get them in nice and quickly, really easily.
Yeah.
And then if you want to follow up them afterwards, then you'd have to get them to sign up to something afterwards, is generally the thing. So it depends on what you want. In your setup, I would argue you probably
Yeah.
want to just have a really simple go high level sign up,
Yeah.
and that way you've got them and they've checked the box to say that you can send them promotional emails or whatever, right? That's
Right.
it's really what you want to do because then they've joined your list properly and now they get into your event. But if you don't want to do
Yep.
that to start with, you can just get people in nice and easily and quickly with the sign up page in Obvio.
Okay. That's what I was
Yeah.
thinking, but I just
Yeah.
thought maybe I missed like a step in there. Somehow that would
No,
connect to my CRM, but I was like, I don't get how that's going to connect if I don't
no, not back
have.
the other way. Yeah,
That's
that's
what I
right.
thought.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
that's
Just wanted
right.
to make sure. Okay,
No
perfect.
worries.
That is actually it. Now I'm done. Thank you.
No worries. Until next week. Um, cool. I think Onric might have left. He has. I'll just double check his questions. Um, Grant, can you advise how I might get contacts to be able to come in and open up a Zoom room without me, without giving them full Obvio backend access? Hmm. You can't. Um, Another question. Is there a way that Go High Level syncs magic links with Obvio, as this is the number one area where I have problems get stuck? Yeah. Yeah, so you can sync once you've got the whole integration set up with Go High Level, then you can force a sync and it'll go back and check all the contacts and look for any tags, the specific Obvio tag in those contacts, and it will populate their URLs at that point. So yeah, there is a way to sort of do it retroactively, where you're looking back over and have it populate them. So you can do that. But yeah. The first question, Onric, if you come back to the recording and look at this. Yeah, that's the import attendees, exactly, Barbara. Having people join without me. I mean, honestly, Onric, this just sounds like kind of outside of the scope of Obvio, and it's exactly what a Zoom meeting can do. You pay like a $15 a month or whatever and get a basic Zoom package, and then you set up that meeting to allow people to join at any time. It's one of the settings that you can set. It doesn't make sense for us to do that for events. We don't want people to be able to join at any time into Obvio events. So if you need people to be able to join before the host, then that sounds like a Zoom specific thing and not through Obvio. That's my answer to that anyway. Cool. Any other questions before we wrap it up?
I put one in the chat.
Oh, you did? I'm sorry. Is there a specific video? Any other? There is. I'm going to hunt that down. I can probably get this one from Justin too. We just got to work on that. We're working on documentation and some videos and things. Sorry that it's not a bit clearer, but we will we'll get that sorted very soon to sort of walk you through it. Yeah, I'll see if I can get Justin's one in the meantime, just to be able to help for people while we're building this out. Cool. Anything else? Thank you.
Grant, it's Abigail. I'm driving. Can I ask a quickie?
Of course you are.
Of course I am.
Yes.
It's only 2:30, 3:30 here in LA. Okay.
Yeah.
Listen to me. This is really important. I keep hearing so much about Go High Level. I'm brand new. I'm going, I thought Russell Brunson and, ClickFunnels and all this stuff. Is there something going on with, I think Barbara is brilliant. And she does all this stuff herself. Like, what's going on with Go High Level? Should I not be buying ClickFunnels?
No.
Okay.
Just love the one you're with.
All right. Okay.
You'll be okay. You're not missing anything. All the different CRMs have pros and cons, and they're all difficult in their own way, right? And so you're fine. ClickFunnels is great, yeah. I think probably there's a little bit more of a push that it might be a bit cheaper than some others. And there's a few other plans out there, resellers and things that are reselling Go High Level, and that could be part of it. But no, if you're already in that world, then you're fine with ClickFunnels. It'll be great.
Okay. Honestly, I went to OCM for my first meeting ever with you guys, and I fell in love with Jason and Adam. And, they were ClickFunnel people. And I said to Blue, what should I go with? He goes, go ClickFunnels. The girls will love
Yep.
Russell. It's all good,
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Exactly.
All right. Good.
Yeah, all good.
If I'm gonna switch, I better switch before my first event. Okay.
Don't switch. Don't switch. No,
Okay.
you're all good.
Okay. Thank you.
No worries. Cool. All right. I think I may pronounce this
I don't know. I don't know if
meeting
Janine
all.
can see it, but I
Yeah.
sent the loom that Justin made for me regarding connecting Go High Level or Obvio to Go High Level, just like the
Oh, yeah, good.
basics. It's not everything we were talking about, Janine, but this is just the basics of how do I just connect it, period. So
Janine, do you want to copy that? Can you, even on your phone, do you want to copy that link and paste it
I
somewhere?
sure will. Thank you,
Okay.
Barbara.
I'll give you a second to do that before we shut this thing down.
And Barbara, please invite me to the next one. Me and my mom want to come. We missed your event and we want to come to the next one. Really, me and mom.
will do. Thank you.
You're welcome. We're there. We're at the menopause age. Let's do it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, bye.
Bye. Nice work. All right. Okay. I think we'll call it until next week. Thank you, everyone. We'll talk to you then. All right.
Thank you, Grant.